Joe and Hampton, lights dim, this game time. Interview sharp, cut through like a shank line.
All right, Stick Lounge. We're on Facebook, Stick Lounge. We're on Instagram at Stick_Lounge.
Fakes you out sometimes.
YouTube at Stick_Lounge_podcast. TikTok at Stick.Lounge.podcast. Email sticklounge@dat, Creolesoul.com. You guys want to use the Stick Lounge podcast studio? Hit us up. We got everything set up. We'll set you up, create some content. You want to use the Stick Lounge itself? Hell yeah, you do. We got a full PA system set up for 4 mics. We've got 70-inch TV. We've got darts. We've got cards. We've got chess. We've got, I think we got Uno. We got everything, guys. Hit us up. You want to do private party karaoke? You want to watch a movie with your friends? You want to have a birthday party?
And poker.
That's what it's here for.
Nice.
Okay. Des Moines, Washington, right off Marine View Drive, right above Creole Soul. Thanks for listening. All right, Stick Lounge podcast. We're here. Hamp's not here. Still minute on the knee.
Yeah.
But next weekend, he said he's going to try to be here next weekend. So couple house cleaning things for us. Creole Soul had a great weekend with Michael Powers in the house. It did, really good both Friday and Saturday night. A little slow today, but we anticipated that because Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah,
right? People are out doing
out.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Next weekend, though, this is going to be a lot of fun. Next Saturday night, we're doing karaoke at Hamp's, Creole Soul.
Nice.
But you can sing or you can compete.
Ooh.
Yes, we're going to do karaoke competition. You don't have to compete, so you can come sing, have a good time, watch the competitors. Winner gets a $100 bar tab.
Hey, that's good.
Right?
That's good.
So, I mean, if you're drinking, you're having a good time, and you think you got the, you
got that
the,
liquid
the
courage
talent,
in you, too. Yeah.
you could be drinking for free. So, hey, $100 bar
incentives.
tab goes to the winner.
That's
we're
cool.
gonna start karaoke at 8, and then we're gonna start the competition at 9, I believe.
Nice.
Cool. So 9 o'clock, everybody gets a little bit in them, and let's do this.
exactly.
Let's do this. $100 bar tab.
Oh, that's great.
So that's on the line, everybody. Saturday night, Creole Soul, off of Marine View Drive, backstage alley. Stick Lounge as well off of Marine View Drive. We don't have a lot going on right now because Hamp's down. So once he gets back, we will have some stuff. I've got some ideas. I've got some plans. We're going to be working on that. So that's it for us. Our guests, Second Love Coffee, Philip and Scott. How's it going, guys? All right. Glad to have you guys in here.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks
you
for
making
having us.
time.
Yeah, totally.
So how do you like Des Moines?
Love it. So you were saying that you moved here 2017.
Yep.
Same for me.
Okay.
Well, we moved to Seattle 2017, and then we moved to Des Moines in 2019. We spent a little bit of time in Magnolia just trying to figure out the area and see if we liked it.
Magnolia, that's like downtown, right?
Yeah, it's pretty close to like Ballard.
Okay,
It's on the other side. But yeah, lovely area, and we were looking to buy, and our realtor was like, you might want to look a little south and a little bit closer to this area. We're
It
like,
tends
that
to
makes
happen.
sense. Yep, exactly. And
Way north or south.
Yeah, exactly. And we toured Des Moines and absolutely loved it immediately.
Cool little town.
Very cool little town.
So you live in Des Moines currently?
We do.
Nice,
Yep.
nice.
Yeah. We're right behind Highland College.
Okay,
and
perfect.
Yeah.
Very cool.
We went through COVID here and
that was fun.
yeah, that was something for sure.
Yeah.
So glad we had a house and not an apartment. During
Right.
that time, we would have murdered each other, my wife and I.
Dude, that's when we moved.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, 2 kids. I mean, my oldest, like I said, is older. She's moved out, but 2 kids. So my 2 daughters, my wife and I, we had a 3-bedroom apartment because we had just moved here and we didn't know much about the area. So we thought, let's get an apartment, figure out what areas we actually like, and then we'll look for a house, And yeah, I think we were in the apartment for like 3 years. And then it was like, we got to go, and we were actually doing okay. It was the neighbors, man. The neighbors were rough. They were rough. I would get up to go to work at like 4:30 in the morning and they'd be banging on the ceiling to tell me to shut up.
Oh,
I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
No,
I just
that's
can't.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's
so,
crazy.
so anyways, what do you do for work? What brought you out here?
Yeah, so I've been in coffee my whole career.
Okay.
And I was a coffee roaster in LA and in Orange County.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And when we were looking to move, my wife was remote, working remote, so she could work from wherever. And so it was like, well, we'll move to the first place I can find a job.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
And so it was between Atlanta, Austin, and Seattle. And ended up working for a espresso machine manufacturer out here.
Okay.
Called
Nice.
Slayer Espresso. I was with them. Started like the day we moved up here, which is wild.
Okay.
July 7th, 2017. and stayed with them until just this January.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I was their coffee educator
Okay.
for a bit, customer support, customer logistics person.
Yeah.
Um,
So coming
did
from
that.
California to this area this is like the coffee mecca, right?
Yes, absolutely, totally.
So you're like, okay, this has got to be the move.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, they're especially for like manufacturers. There's only like 3 or 4 U.S. espresso machine manufacturers.
Okay.
And they're all here.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it's
I didn't
so
know
weird.
that. Holy cow.
So strange.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
So the whole time, did you? Well, let's go to Scott. Scott, did you jump on with him? How long have you guys been working together?
Well, we we met each other down in LA. Our
okay.
his wife and my ex were roommates, and
Okay.
so we were kind of like the boyfriends, who got
Gotcha.
to know each other, play Xbox, stuff like that.
At least it worked out, man. Sometimes you're like, I
Yeah.
want to hang out with that guy.
totally.
yeah,
totally.
no, definitely.
Yeah.
Like the boyfriend's coming over, you're like, great.
Right.
Exactly.
Perfect.
And I moved up here in 2017 as well.
Okay.
And
All of us.
yeah, pretty
2017.
much.
There we go.
It was good.
Bunch of
Good time,
transplants.
good year.
Yeah, great year.
And, I was in tech operations, so logistics, supply chain, and so I was doing that up until about actually December of 2024. So
Oh, okay.
I decided to make a switch, but yeah,
Nice.
my career was all about launching new buildings, operations and shipping logistics across the U.S.
gotcha.
And then
A lot of that out here, too.
a lot of that,
A lot
big
of that out
time.
here.
And I've always been interested in coffee. And I never knew that coffee would be like my thing, my career that I would get
Right?
into.
Where you'd be going? Sure.
Yep. And I've actually had a ton of friends that have been into coffee. I have a friend who's a coffee roaster down in Maryland, and so I got to learn a lot from him there. And then chatting with Phil over the years, we got to talk in a lot of backyard patio chats.
Yeah.
And then one day, just chatting about the business and what he wanted to do, and I was like, dude, let's do it. Like anything you
That's
need,
cool, man.
I'm here to help.
We
So
should start a band.
yeah, basically. And,
Yeah.
and Des Moines is super cool. Like this is a great little city.
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't really know where it was, like because I moved to Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
I lived there for about 3 years and then moved to Renton. So
Okay.
I bought my house in Renton, and I love Renton. I think it's a really
Yeah,
cool
Renton's
place.
nice. My office is down there. We live there. It was just we were looking for a house, and it was during COVID. We walked so many houses. I can't even tell you. Like there was a lot of people moving at that time, which is kind of wild.
Yeah.
And we had looked at so many, and finally my wife's like, "Here's the one that we got," and I'm like, "I don't even remember which one that is." And we're up Marine View Drive in the Woodmont area. It's
Yeah.
still Des Moines, but it's like right on the edge.
Oh, gotcha.
So
Okay, cool.
I worked constantly when we first moved here, like just always busy.
Well, it's funny too because when you move to the south, like if you've been living in the city and you're like, "Yeah, I'm moving to Renton," they're like, "Oh, Renton, like, you're going down there."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And luckily, like I bought my house in 2020 January, so right before COVID. So it was a great time. I mean,
Yeah.
I lucked that out because I was living. My apartment in Capitol Hill was inside of the Chaz Chop.
Oh,
so I
holy
kind
cow.
of missed all of that stuff.
Yeah, that would have been wild for sure.
Yeah. So
It was a great idea. It was like
Oh yeah.
peace, love, and
Yeah.
we got this. And from what
Well
I
executed
remember,
for a while, too.
It
Yeah.
ran for a little bit.
A
and
little
then-
bit.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of bad. Like you can have a great idea like that, but the second that nefarious people go, wait, there's no cops.
Totally.
Right.
Totally. Yeah.
Well, let's go there.
Let's go there.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
We're moving offices.
Yeah. So did it just happen that you guys were moving at the same time, or was it like you kind of both had an opportunity and said, let's
No,
do
we
it?
didn't.
Or?
Totally happenstance.
it's completely random.
Really?
Like we
That's
were
wild.
on. Like we didn't really chat too much after I moved, and and so it just kind of we fell in and got to know like our. My ex and his wife are still good friends. And so
Right.
you're like, oh, Phil and Danielle are moving up here.
Yeah.
Like, let's go hang out. Where are you
Okay.
guys moving? Oh,
Yeah.
Des Moines. Oh, it's,
Yeah.
or Magnolia. So we used to go and
Yeah.
go hang out. And
That's
yeah,
cool.
so that just kind of happened.
Oh yeah.
Pretty
So
cool.
so I got to ask. I love coffee, right?
Awesome.
I am not. I tried way back in the day. I had like the espresso machine and the
Yeah.
grinder, and then it turned into a pain in the ass. I got a K cup Keurig thing now, right?
Yeah,
Because I
yeah,
can
yeah.
make coffee and go to work.
Mhm.
When you hang out with Philip, is he like, don't drink that trash? I got
No,
the
you know
good
what?
stuff.
It's actually really funny because
No?
never
Okay.
never like snobby or elitist
Good,
about it.
good.
Like
That's
he
perfect.
would be like, oh, that's cool, man. What do you like about that? Like would
Yeah.
ask more
Yeah.
inquisitive questions.
That's good. I got a guy that I work with that he's a self-proclaimed coffee snob, right?
Oh, the best kind.
I'll come into work and he'll come in and what are you drinking? I'm like, I don't know, man. It's a Costco K cup. I pop it in, I come to work, and he's like, well, I woke up an hour early and pressed this. And I'm like, good for you, bro. I love a good coffee. I do.
100%.
It's time. For me, it's time.
We can help with that.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
I love it, man. I love it. So what, you did coffee roasting.
Yep.
So when did the passion for coffee start? Was it like a job that you started and you're like, I really like this, or how did that come about?
Yeah. So I started, I think, how most people start, which is I worked in a cafe just while I was going to college.
Okay.
And I was going to college to be a community college professor.
Nice.
And while I was there, I was also getting into specialty coffee, which is like the higher, like, so kind of tanging it a little bit. But,
sure, go for it. It's your hour.
All coffee is graded.
Okay.
So in order to sell coffee, it needs to be graded by this organization. And the grade is from 50 to 100.
Okay.
Anything that scores over a certain score is considered specialty.
Okay.
So there's the commodity market and then there's the specialty market.
Gotcha. K-cups are commodity, I'm assuming.
Yeah. They are, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So I started to get into the specialty coffee world, was getting really passionate about that, was falling in love with just learning about coffee, the process, all the hands that it touches through the coffee supply chain, and was like, this is really neat. This might be where I want to take it. And at the time, getting any sort of teaching job where I was going to school or in the area, almost impossible.
Oh, okay.
I had friends that were subbing in like 2 counties away from them just to get their name out there so that there could be like in a modem of a chance that they could land a teaching job. So
is that just in the college space, or I feel like they're always saying we need more teachers?
Yeah, it's primarily in the college space.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And in fact, like a lot of the friends that I have that continued on that education path, they're like elementary school teachers now.
Okay.
So not even in like
sense.
which is great.
It's great. Yeah, my daughter wants to be a teacher.
Perfect.
So I'm like, you're 17. Let's keep working on it. But I mean, that's great.
We need more teachers.
Awesome.
We need more teachers a lot. I feel like they're underappreciated.
Absolutely.
You know? I mean, and I get it. It's tough for funding and public schools and stuff like that. But yeah. So, anyways, you went the other path.
Yeah. So I chose the other path. I got into that current roastery, which was called Cafecito Organico. I became their roaster and their coffee educator, and I was there for about 4 years.
Okay.
And then moved to be the head roaster at another spot because honestly, it was just distance.
Okay.
Cafecito was maybe like an hour and a half, 2-hour drive. And
that's tough.
Yeah, it was.
That is tough.
It was getting a little rough.
Sure.
It was where I would like go and I would spend the night at an Airbnb to work a couple days up there.
Holy cow.
And then head back home. So
Super common in LA too.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Everybody, like, you can't get a job if you're not driving 50 minutes each way. Sure. It seems.
I mean, it's pretty common here too. I mean, it's the thing about here is, and again, coming from Arizona, I can go 40 miles in 40 minutes. Here it's like you're going to be in traffic for an hour and a half. And I got friends in Arizona like, well, how long do you have to, how far are you driving? Like 12 miles.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So,
Yeah. Exactly.
So through that entire process, you're learning about coffee because you're hanging out with them, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you just
learning about through with Phil and I mean I developed a little bit of a palate with my dad was a big wine guy, and so
nice.
I'd to hang out with Dad, I had to like, all right, I gotta learn a lot about wine, and
Sure.
So it's amazing how like applicable that process is to coffee as well, because it's just another agriculture product that has varying levels of quality, and you can
just
learn
like
a lot
growing
about
the
the
grapes,
growers.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Gotcha.
And so I took that, and because I mean I was the same. I was like a K-cup guy. Like when I was working, I worked in a warehouse, and I had to start at 4 a.m. There was no time for a pour over. Like it was, I'm just going for the cup, and it was good. But then started to go, okay, well I can learn about the different qualities. And my friend, whenever he'd come to visit, he would bring his coffee that he roasted. I'm like, why is this so much better? Like, why? What is it that makes it better? Are you brewing it different? He's like, no, it's the roast. And so he told me I learned a lot about like how the beans can be, you can have the same bean and roast it 100 different ways, and it'll be 100 different coffees.
Really?
So
See,
it's,
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you roast your own beans?
We do.
Yes.
Yep.
You do. Nice. Are you doing that in house here?
No, we are doing that offsite.
Okay. How big is a roaster? I mean, there's places where I go here and I smell coffee roasting, and I'm like, oh my god,
Yes.
it
Yeah.
smells so good.
Yeah. So they range. So we're roasting off of a 6 kilo batch size machine.
Gotcha.
Which for size, I mean, probably like 8 feet tall, 4 feet wide.
Okay.
like
Yeah.
2 commercial refrigerators.
Like 2 commercial. Yeah, perfect. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, perfect.
All right.
But they range. Like you can, so most coffee comes in 60 kilo bag sizes.
Okay.
And so you can get like a full bag roaster, like a 60 kilo guy that's just huge.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it takes up a whole room.
Yeah.
So those are really sweet. But yeah, we're just doing it here in Kent.
Okay. Is that like a space that you lease that just for that?
Exactly,
Or
yeah.
are they set up, or is that all your equipment in there?
No, they're set up.
They're set up.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's in a space called the Green Room, which most of the coffee that's imported into Seattle goes to this warehouse.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And then they have a section of their warehouse that they have a couple roasters that you can rent time off of.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. It's allowed us to scale to what we've been wanting to do, and it'll be how we operate this cafe. And then maybe our second location
Right.
is going
All
to be
right.
the
Already talking
roastery.
about a second location.
Oh, yeah.
You
All
gotta
right.
dream big, man.
There you go. Hell yeah. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
That's
for
perfect.
sure.
I think
for
that was
sure.
one in the beginning when we were drawing up, like we were drawing what our space would look like. I was like, okay, well, where's the second one going to be? Where's the roaster going
Nice.
to be? Like,
Good idea. man.
scale up to a certain point where you can still maintain the quality, still maintain your
Sure.
standards and what you're looking for, but
Yeah.
not get too big.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
Cool.
yeah.
So what's the trick to roasting? I mean, you're the roaster, right?
Yeah.
So where you don't have to give me all the details. You want to give away your secrets, right? But I mean, is it?
No secrets.
I'm
There's
assuming
no
it's-
secrets.
Well, hold on.
There's a couple. We can do the.
Yeah, exactly.
But is it like? I don't want to say bad to do it one way or good to do it another, or is it like do this to get it a little darker, do
Yeah.
this to get it a little lighter,
Yep.
and you just kind of pick your.
Yeah. So quality, like first and foremost, starts at the farm.
Okay.
So we have a saying in coffee, which is like it's gonna be its best when it's still on the tree.
Okay.
And then it's going to diminish in
Okay.
quality every hand it touches.
So is that
'Cause
for
that's just the
freshness
way
or
it
what?
is. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you roast a fresh coffee bean,
right.
and they're
so
green, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yep. So
I've heard. I've actually never
Yeah.
seen one.
Yeah,
So-
so it's cool. So
think so.
the processing of coffee is they're grown on trees.
Yep.
And different varietals of coffee can be different tree sizes or bush sizes or have different yields.
Okay.
But generally, there's 2 to 3 harvests a year.
Okay.
With climate change and all that stuff, it's kind of getting a
Sure.
little wonky with
Yeah.
how many harvests they'll have. But so they're picked at their ripest.
Okay.
So you could it's kind of cool. They'll actually have like the pickers will have like a wristband.
Okay.
Or they'll paint their nail a color of like what the ripe cherry should
Oh.
look like.
Okay.
And then they'll pick
and
it
then they
from-
kind of know.
And then they kind of know. So they're
Gotcha.
only picking the good stuff. From there, it's you need to get the seed out of the cherry.
Okay.
And that seed is the coffee bean that we're roasting.
It's almost like the pit or something.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that actual coffee bean could grow another coffee tree.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So it is
Yeah.
the actual seed.
It
that-
is the actual
okay.
seed.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
And
I'm learning.
Yeah. Yeah. And so from there, it's processed through 2 different types of processes. There's most common is washed, where they actually take the cherry, they put it into a washing mill,
Okay.
and water takes the mucilage off and separates the seed.
Okay.
Majority of the coffees that you're probably having are this way.
Okay.
They're a little cleaner in the cup. They're a little higher in acidity. And then they're like they tend to score a little bit better than this other process, which is natural coffees.
And the
naturally
beans are
processed coffee.
scored before they're roasted.
They're scored when they're roasted.
When they're roasted.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha.
So the other process that's really popular is called naturally processed.
Okay.
And that one is like the oldest way of processing coffee because all they do is they take the cherry, pick it off the tree, and then they throw it on the ground. Well, now we're putting them on raised beds because it just is a lot cleaner that way. But you're just letting nature do its thing. So it's controlled fermentation.
Oh, okay.
Really is what's going on.
So
and
it's
then,
just kind of drying out and then doing its own thing.
exactly, yeah.
All right.
So farmers will put them on raised beds. They'll rotate them and monitor their moisture levels to make sure that they're not
Don't
over
get moldy
fermenting
or something, or-
yeah,
yeah, okay.
exactly.
Or they'll co-ferment and put like strawberries or just random things with it
Wow,
too.
okay.
That's getting really popular nowadays. Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think
which
I've ever
is-
had a coffee like that.
It's neat. It's neat. Yeah, when we'll probably have one on the menu. So when we do, we'll let you know.
Okay, cool, perfect.
Yeah. But that one tends to, because of the added fermentation that's going on, tends to be a little winier, a little less acidity, and a little bit more just kind of fuller bodied almost.
I need to get a finer palate.
This is where you'll find a lot of the tasting notes. Like we had one when we were doing our first cupping, and the tasting note we got was blue cheese.
Really?
What?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Wow,
So
that's
you can get some pretty interesting flavors.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too, is that a lot of these flavors are the terroir. It's the land that they're growing the coffee on. And then further than a little bit macro from that is the region that it's growing in.
okay.
So coffee grows along the equator
Right.
because the climate is just perfect for
Makes sense.
coffee trees. And so they have generally like warmer days and cold nights with the right amount of rain and shade and all that stuff. So
Like an Oregon Pinot.
Yeah.
yeah,
right,
like
right,
in
yeah.
Oregon Pinot, exactly. Yeah, like
Well, in cigars, your tobacco and stuff. You got, depending on where you're getting your tobacco leaves from, you got different. Yeah, so it makes sense.
yeah, yep. And there are like African coffees are known to be a little bit fruitier, a little bit more tea-like, versus coffees from Colombia or Guatemala that are going to be a little bit more chocolatey, nutty,
Right.
kind of those classic coffee flavors.
Wow. There's
Yeah.
a lot. There's a lot to go, man.
Lot to
I
go.
mean, I've done a lot of wine tastings. I like cigars, and you get all those different notes and flavors and different tobaccos. I've never done a coffee tasting.
Yeah, we will be hosting a couple too.
I'd be very interested in that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Is that a common thing, a coffee tasting?
It is,
Is it?
yeah.
Okay.
Generally through a process called cupping.
Okay.
So coffee professionals who are tasting a lot of coffee at once tend to evaluate coffees through a process called cupping, which is a bowl and coffee and water.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay.
So it's not passing through a filter.
It's
which
not
might-
actually brewed.
It is brewing.
It is
It's in full immersion. So it's
Oh, I
it's
gotcha.
hot water and ground coffee.
That's funny because one of my favorite coffees, I call it camping coffee.
Yeah.
Right. So I go hunting with my dad or camping when I was younger. We throw the grounds right in with the water, boil it on the fire, and
Exactly.
strain it into the cup. Man, that's good
That's the
stuff.
same
Yep.
thing.
Oh yeah.
That's my
so
favorite
much of
coffee.
it. So much of it is about maintaining consistency. Because if you're going to taste, 5 to 10 different coffees, you're going to want to make sure there's not any variation in the brew method because that can bring out a different taste.
Oh, that makes sense.
And so this way you're really focusing on the coffee itself.
Okay.
Exactly.
Do you do like a palate cleanse between those two, like you would for wine, or
Yeah.
is it necessary?
Yeah. It. Some people do. Some people don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
They spit it out like
They
at a
spit
wine
it out.
tasting?
Yeah.
It's
Do they?
a,
Okay.
it's a wild process though. If you've never seen it, like I went to it's the SCA, which is like the convention for coffee that they have once a year. That's thrown in rotating places, and I went 1 year, and it was I had never really seen cupping happen, and it's wild. Like you'll have all these cups, and you'll have 20 different people walking around with spoons. And they're just grabbing the coffee, and they make like a slurping noise when they suck in it in.
Right.
And
Kind of like
then-
when you do the wine.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Yeah.
It's
exactly.
and then they just kind of rotate around, and we did basically like speed dating coffee tasting, which
Nice.
I mean I have an okay palate, but I was like, I'm losing it. Like this is
Yeah.
so fast, and
Yeah,
you're like, wait,
yeah.
what was that one? I have to go back and taste it.
Sure.
You're like cutting in the line. Right. They could tell I was like, I didn't know what I was doing because I'm just like,
Like, just get
"Excuse
out of
me,
the way,
I gotta-
bro."
I gotta taste this thing for like the 8th time because I don't know what this is.
Let the professionals come in. Okay.
yeah. It's got it.
Like, I'm glad you got to take it. I don't know how the hell you got it. but That'd be me. That'd be me.
Yeah.
I'm that way at wine tastings though too.
Nice.
I mean, I like wine. I can appreciate it. I totally understand don't totally understand. I understand the method and like again, growing the grapes in the right climates. And in northern Arizona, actually, there's a lot of wineries. Surprisingly,
Really?
high desert. Yeah, there's some really specific wines that come out of there.
Neat.
The band Tool.
Yeah.
So the singer Maynard, His
Yeah.
wine Merkin comes out of Arizona.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's in Cottonwood, Arizona. I actually built the building on his winery.
No way.
yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's wild.
But so I've learned a little bit there,
Awesome.
but I don't get all the notes and all the different things, or at least I'm not certain enough in my head to say I taste this.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm gonna be like, you don't taste that.
Well, and I'll
rough.
tell people when we're doing tasting, because like whether it's wine or coffee or anything really, it's like you write down what you think you're tasting and what you
Right.
think you feel, like whether it's the texture or whether it's, but like simply put, do you like it?
Yeah.
And,
Right.
What is
That I
how,
can do,
how does
yeah.
it make you feel? Like,
Right.
That
and
makes
that
sense.
honestly, like I think it removes some of the pretentiousness into the tasting process, because there are a lot of people that get really into it, and I mean they have amazing palates that take a lifetime to curate.
Sure, sure. We had the whiskey tasting with Heritage Distillery up here, and the guy was really cool because it was a tasting, and he was doing the same thing, like what kind of notes do you get, and he was telling everyone like, I don't care what you taste.
Yeah.
What you taste is what you taste.
Yeah.
Right.
He's like, so don't let anybody tell you no, you're not tasting that. He goes, because that's your palate, right? And that kind of made sense to me. I've never had anyone say that during a wine tasting
Yeah.
or anything. Like everyone has literally a different taste, right?
Totally.
So
Yeah.
you're gonna taste what
And
you
a
taste.
different vocabulary too.
That too,
Yeah. And I've cupped with people who I respect who don't even talk about coffee and like the tasting notes. They talk about them in colors. So it's
Oh,
like,
really?
oh, this one's a little bit more red than this. And
Huh.
like, I'm like,
Interesting.
and you kind of you understand how they're talking about it and what they're experiencing when they're cupping. And yeah,
Sure.
everybody's right.
Yeah, right. Everyone's right. There's no losers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So when you guys are roasting your beans, are you doing like a light, a medium, a dark? I mean, I'm very basic, but is
Yeah.
that you're doing different things like that to get different coffees while you're roasting? or-
Yeah.
Okay.
So we tend to roast light to medium.
Okay.
We want to enhance the terroir of the coffee. Get all of that
I'm sorry, say that again.
terroir.
What is that?
So it's the land basically. So
Like terra firma.
like yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Correlation.
Exactly. Yeah. So we want to represent the coffee as best as possible. And we find that like highlighting acidity and highlighting sweetness is best done in that like light to medium.
Okay.
So we don't roast too dark to where all you're tasting is the roast itself.
Gotcha. So
Yeah.
that's what you're getting with a dark coffee.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Which like from a consistency standpoint is awesome. You can buy whatever coffee you is available.
Yeah.
That is affordable for you, and then you're roasting it to the point where you're only tasting the roast itself. So your
Gotcha.
consistency across the board is awesome.
Right.
You can usually get away with like a lower quality coffee if you roast it darker.
That's
because you're gonna
that's
get
me. I'm a dark roast guy all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's because they all kind of taste like a dark roast.
Right.
Yep.
You know?
Right. Yep. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And but we don't really talk about the like this one's a light, this one's a medium, this one's
Okay.
a darker one. We talk about like the body, the sweetness, the acidity. So if a customer comes up to us and is like, "Hey, I'm looking for a coffee that is on the darker side," we'll take that and we'll try to like get them to identify the things that they actually like. Is it the chocolatiness that you like? Is it the nuttiness that you like? Try to get them into maybe a different vocabulary than they may be used
cool.
to.
So you're working with the customer, really trying to find out what their palate likes,
Yes.
not
Right.
just here's your coffee. See,
Right.
that's-
Yeah,
that's nice.
exactly.
That's great.
Yeah. And if they're like, we like I really like a fruitier thing, or like, great, then we're going to steer you in this direction.
Perfect. So you guys you brought, I forgot to bring it in here. I wanted to bring it in. You guys brought me some beans.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
That's awesome. Thank you very much. I wanted to hold it in front of the camera, but I'll post it. I can snip it in.
Sweet. Yeah.
So you guys are selling beans and everything over there, and you're doing coffee, just drinks as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you-
we're doing we're selling the bags of coffee.
Okay.
So we sell them in 10-ounce bags and then in 5-pound bags. So we do wholesale as well for cafes, restaurants, or the consumer
Nice.
that drinks a lot of coffee. We've had a few
Okay,
folks that out and they buy 5-pound bags and we're like, oh, what are you doing with this? They're like, I just like having a lot of coffee. I was like, right on,
There you
man. We
go.
love that.
There you go. Got to have coffee at the house.
But so that's our primary business is the coffee itself. That's what we're primarily about. But
okay.
we're opening up the cafe to have that third space and to be able to promote our coffee and promote the location and promote the community as well.
See, and I didn't even know that. I thought you guys were just, going to be a coffee shop. I didn't know you were pushing so hard on like selling the actual coffee to larger facilities and stuff like that.
Yes.
So that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We're definitely pushing a wholesale program for sure. And
Very
yeah,
cool.
like Scott said, like opening a cafe is more than, you know, just selling beans. It's about creating a community and
Yeah.
supporting the community that exists already there.
Well, there's a lot of places that sell coffee, right?
Right.
And I know there's some coffee shops that I've been to, but it never seems like they're doing more than just selling coffee.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It sounds like you guys are doing more than that, and that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you gonna
we're-
do
we're-
like coffee shop stuff where they got like jazz or poetry or any kind of thing like that?
Yeah. We're gonna work. So
I haven't seen the space yet. I'm sorry.
yeah, it's I mean, it's not the biggest space in the world,
Hey.
but we're gonna make it.
We work with small spaces out here.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah, exactly.
We've got a cool patio deck that we're fortunate to have in our space, and you know we're going to be looking for different activities, different folks to promote, and be able, especially for local artists and local folks. Like you know, I'm probably jumping ahead, but we have a ceramicist that we're working with that's making some
Nice.
mugs for us, and you know, so we want to promote local artists as well and
Very
bring them
cool.
into the shop. And so we'll always be looking for opportunities to collaborate in a way that works for the space.
And you're in a good community to do that. I mean,
Totally.
everybody here is kind of hands on with each other. So
Mhm. Absolutely.
I've seen you guys on a lot of the different posts of things that are going on, and like the recent Easter egg hunts,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. You know, just little
Yeah.
community things that are going on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All that's growing too. We're getting a lot of those people in here and interviewing them, and all the ideas are always cooking. You know, there's
Yeah.
always something else in the hopper.
yeah. Yeah. And everybody's so passionate here.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, and that's kind of how this all started too. You know, I was like, I know so many business owners in the area. They're trying so hard to push it. Let's just highlight them. Why not?
Totally.
And I
Yeah.
wanted to do this anyways. It sounded like fun, but I'm like, there's really good people in this area, so
Yeah.
let's just have a conversation about it. You know?
Absolutely.
Well, that's what's really cool about Des Moines. Like I live in Renton, has a similar sort of similar vibe in that there's a ton of small businesses, but Des Moines feels like almost exclusively small business.
Yeah.
You know, we were just at the What's Up Des Moines down at Quarter Deck,
Mm.
and it was really cool to see all these small business owners coming around and chatting about what they've got going on in their space and.
Yeah.
You know how to collaborate with each other. So there's a huge community, and we're really excited to be a part of it.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
very cool. You guys gonna go to the MIBB Fest and all that stuff?
Yes.
coming
Oh,
up? MIBBB.
Yes.
The triple B.
The
Yeah.
triple B. There you
Yeah,
go.
I gotta get my.
Mib. Steve calls it Mib. I just
Mib.
got to say Mib.
I like mid.
Have you guys been before?
I
No,
have
this
not.
will
I
be our
got the
first time.
411 on it though.
Mhm.
It's
I
pretty
had-
fun.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
pretty fun. My favorite part is the film festival. There's so many cool short films.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really
Awesome.
neat. It's a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a question. White coffee. That tastes horrible. What is the deal with? I tried it, right? And,
Yeah.
and I didn't hate it, right? But it's very nutty. It's very
Yes.
nutty.
Mhm.
What's the appeal?
I've never had it.
You've never had it?
Never had it.
Okay,
We
all
had
right,
we
fair
had a
enough.
lot of we had well I wouldn't say a lot we had a few folks that were coming when we were at the market and they were asking are you all going to do a white coffee, and I don't think we are. Like, that's not going to be what we're going to do.
Sure.
I haven't been able to find it. I don't know where they serve it, but there was enough people asking me about it that
Yeah.
I was like, what is this?
Mhm.
It's a new thing to me. Obviously, my
Yeah.
my kids go to Gravity Coffee because it's not far from the
Yeah.
house.
Oh, okay.
And Dutch Bros, of course.
Yes.
But they're like, let's go through Gravity Coffee. I'm not an energy drink guy. All that fancy stuff that's super sweet, not my vibe.
Yeah.
I'm like, they have a white coffee. I'm like, I've never tried it. I'm gonna get it. And so I ordered a white coffee. My daughter goes, Dad, you don't order just because I drink my coffee black.
Mhm.
So I didn't want anything in it. Like, I just wanted to taste it. And she's like, that's not how you order white coffee. It has to
Oh.
have all the stuff in it.
It's got to have stuff in it.
That's what she said. I don't know.
Interesting.
But I just got a cup of white coffee, and it wasn't terrible, but it was like this. It's more like a really nutty tea.
Okay.
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 Yeah.
So I don't even know the process. Are they not roasting the beans, maybe?
Right.
Or-
So that's what I've heard it is.
Okay.
Again, I'm a little ignorant on this because I didn't
Yeah.
do too much research, but
no, just a question I had.
yeah, I think what they do is they just take the green coffee unroasted, grind it, and brew it.
Oh, really?
Which on its like so one of the changes that happens when you roast green coffee is that it becomes more soluble.
Okay.
It so when it's green, it's really hard.
Mhm.
And you need special diamond tipped
Oh,
burr
wow.
sets to grind green coffee.
Holy cow.
So the investment in I want to know so badly.
a lot
about
of
somebody.
home like grinders won't even grind light coffee.
Right.
Like some of the I
Okay.
had a really kind of just off the shelf grinder and it wasn't grinding a lot of like if I bought something even from Olympia or if I bought
Right.
something from even some like Landro, it was like not grinding. I'm like, what's going on here? But it's just like
It's
the
just so
further
strong.
you think about
Yeah.
it, like I mean, this is a bad analogy, but like wood, right? If you put wood on the fire, if you try to throw wood into a wood chipper when it's freshly chopped, it's
Sure.
gonna be a lot of
Yeah.
process
Pulpy,
to
green,
cut it up.
wet. Yeah.
Right. But if you sit it on the fire and let it get to the point where it starts to become like charcoal, it's going to grind
It's brittle and
pretty
it breaks
easy.
apart.
Yeah, it's brittle.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
exactly.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So where does the caffeine level of coffees come into play? Is it the bean itself?
Yeah. Yes, that is the bean itself. It's
Okay. Nothing to
naturally
do with
occurring
roasting or anything like that. Yeah.
Naturally occurring in coffee. And then when you get decaf coffees
Mhm.
at the farm, they're decaffeinating it.
What's that? Do you know what that process is?
Yeah. So we have a decaf on right now that is fire. It's very good.
Okay.
But it goes through a newer decaffeination process style called ethyl lactate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Write it
it's-
down.
It's a whole
Get
it's
your
a
lab
whole
coat.
thing,
Yeah.
right? Exactly. But essentially, the simplest way I can put it is that they're steaming the green coffee
Okay.
to open up the pores,
All right.
and then they're using a binding agent that binds to the coffee proteins, or
Wow.
and then
Some
removes
chemist level stuff
some
going on.
chemist level stuff for
All
sure.
right. Wow.
The most common is Swiss water process.
Okay.
You'll see a lot of decaffeinated coffees that are Swiss water, but that tends to affect the flavor of the coffee pretty significantly.
Right.
This ethyl lactate one, the binding agent that they're using is actually naturally occurring in fruit.
Oh, okay.
So they're able to preserve a lot of the flavors in there, or in some instances like this, maybe like add some flavor that you would get from that fruit. So yeah,
okay.
interesting.
Yeah,
stuff.
there's a lot to know, man.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I mean, there's full on like scientists. I
It
mean,
sounds like it.
coffee goes really deep. Like
Yeah.
I'm a gadget guy, so I always,
okay.
I like your mic setup. If I
Yeah.
get into anything, I'm like,
go in deep.
Before I even done it, like I took curling lessons, and before I even did it, I went out and bought curling shoes, the best curling broom. It
Yeah,
was just like.
yeah.
And my friends are like, "What are you doing? You don't even know if you like it." I'm like, "No, I need the stuff."
Yeah. No, I'm the
And
same
coffee's
way,
like that. I mean,
Yeah.
you can go from a consumer level where they call them prosumers, and I mean these are people that in their house have a more expensive setup than most cafes, in commercial cafes, and then you get into the back end for roasting, for growing, for just everything to do with how the bean goes from the cherry to the grind.
Right.
It's so much science going on. So I mean,
And
I don't proclaim to be a
centuries, right, of figuring it out.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Well, and people would figure it out and not know what was happening. Like
Yeah.
it was the same thing. You put a bean in a roasting drum and you let it tumble and it changes from green to brown to dark brown, and it goes through the Maillard reaction, which essentially is like caramelization of the sugar and acids in it.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So there's a lot to know about coffee.
Yes.
Where does your background in? You said you had a background in like logistics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
correct?
So
Does that come into play for you guys?
yes. So
Very much
this is Phil and I, like what's advantageous for our partnership is that he knows the coffee like in and out and is really
I'm
good at
learning
what
that.
he does. And then what I bring to the table is more of like the back end, kind of the business operation side.
Okay.
Like I've had small business before, and then I've worked in big business, and I've seen how do you ship things from A to B? How do you go through permit process? How do you build something from scratch? And so
Very, very important stuff, right?
yeah. So it's a lot more of the boring stuff. Like I did bookkeeping, I did finance back in the day. And so, I mean, I'm doing, the bookkeeping every day and
Right.
running through all the numbers and doing the loans and getting all the permits. And so
Like,
there's
oh,
a lot of back of
You're
house
over
stuff.
here roasting coffee.
Yeah, he's doing the fun.
He's got the fun stuff.
Right,
And
right.
they're just like, where's the money?
That's rough, man. That's rough. But it's the back of the house stuff that makes it work, right? Without that going on, it doesn't happen.
Well,
so.
without the product, the back of house doesn't
That's
matter.
true,
So
too.
it's
It's
a
a
good
relationship.
kind of, good balancing the scales.
Yeah.
All right, very cool. Do you enjoy doing it for your guys' own situation rather than
I
doing
love
it for
it.
a larger?
I love it, man.
corporation or
I had
something?
been doing this for, really rich people for a long time, and
Nice to do it for
pulling a
yourself.
couple of bucks down the way. But it's really nice to see like the fruit of my labor doing this and taking
awesome.
what I learned, all that on the job training that I got doing, what I was doing for, almost 20 years, because before I was in operations and tech, I was in grocery.
Okay.
My first job was I was a bagger at like a Safeway.
There you
so
go.
I was, going and getting the carts and,
Yeah.
and then I worked my way up over almost a decade to become a store manager.
Nice.
So I kind of saw like, I did night crew, I did dairy, I did the meat department. So I saw what it takes to like run a retail business and how to hire people and how to go through like the HR stuff and,
there's a lot there. I've had some friends that have done that, and it's like they started out in high school bagging, pushing carts, and all the kids in high school talk crap to them, but 10 years later they're running 3 or 4 stores. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, there you go. If you stick with it, you know. So no, that's great.
Yeah,
It's nice to see the fruits of your labor, though.
Yeah, that's nice.
Perfect. So where did the name Second Love Coffee? Where'd that come from?
Yeah. So Second Love, we have a saying. It's our first love is our community.
Okay.
And our second love is coffee.
That's very cool. I never would have thought of that.
Yeah. And we want to use our second love to better our first love.
Very cool, man.
Yeah.
You guys got that on shirts or something, or
we'll have it on some merch eventually.
It's on
totally.
our marketing deck right now.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. And I came up. I have a list of potential names that have been in the chamber for the last 2 or 3 years while we just kind of figured out what the business,
mulling it over, seeing what the best one is. I like it though. And now that I know what it means, I wasn't sure what it meant, but that's great. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah. It's funny. We get a lot of people asking that, and we got some wild guesses of why that.
I want to hear what they were because I had one, but
I'd love to hear yours first.
Yeah.
I thought maybe you guys were getting some kind of recycled bean or something.
That's what one of them was.
Yeah.
One of them was like, "Is this used coffee?" I was like, "What's used coffee?"
And I had no idea, but in my head, I'm like, well, there's those produce places, right, that sell like the carrots that are
Imperfect.
perfect.
Sure,
right?
imperfect
You know what I mean?
foods,
So I
yeah.
thought maybe you guys are taking imperfect beans, and I don't know. That's what I was going. But
Yeah, we had one lady, and you can cut this out if needed, but she was like, "Is it a sex thing?"
no, we don't need to cut it out. Dude, we've said way worse on here. Don't worry about it. We're for adults only.
Perfect.
I was like, "How'd you guess?"
How did you know?
Well,
Man. Yeah.
You never know what's going on. Actually, we had people because when I was doing this space, I painted the room red. I wanted it to stand out from the rest of the space. You know, out there, it's super chill. I wanted when you walk in here to be like, whoa, this is way different.
Yeah.
And, this window was open, and I had those umbrella lights, which don't really work in here because they're too big.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
But I was testing them out, and so people were looking up here through the window, and they'd see the red, and they saw the umbrella lights, and I had several people going, "You guys filming porn up there? Like, what's going on?"
6 o'clock hits
It's
and the curtains
available.
close.
It's available for rent if you
Yeah,
want.
hey,
if you want to.
Like
Gotta
it's
pay the
not,
bills.
Surfaces.
like it's not that kind of a studio. So yeah, we get that around here.
That's funny.
But there was the theater, I guess, was. I could be wrong on this. I think it was a porn theater.
It
Yes.
was.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So, actually, that's a good segue. We can. So we're opening a cafe in the theater.
You guys are in the theater.
We're in the theater.
Which everyone, let me do this real quick. Everyone is excited for the theater.
Yes.
It's been a long project in the
It
making.
has
but
been.
Ben's been killing it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I want to get him on here to talk about that because I've toured it. I helped a couple friends move in.
Oh, awesome.
I love it, man. It's super cool.
It's
on the
really
inside.
cool.
It's great.
I don't think I've been in your guys' space, but I mean, I've been through a lot of it before people were moving in and stuff, and it's just, man, they did such a good job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Knock on the window if we're in there.
Okay,
We're setting up.
We'll do.
Yeah.
For
Yep.
sure. You guys are you next? You're right in before the Dog's
Next
Dream.
to next to Dog's Dream and next to Mercantile. So if you go to Mercantile, you just there's a gap between the two buildings.
Oh, you're the first one.
We're
right
the
there.
first
We
one.
are the first one.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Nice.
Yeah.
And you got Iris and Peony down below you guys.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
Robin's
Very cool.
Robin's our neighbor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had her on.
Yeah.
She was on like our second or third guest on here.
That's
so.
awesome.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah, she was.
She's dope.
She's
Yeah,
awesome.
she's very nice. She was supposed to come back on to announce her candidacy for
Yeah.
city council.
Very exciting.
Super happy for her.
Yeah, so
really cool.
we'll see when we get her on. She's been busy,
Totally.
but yeah. So you guys, release date, opening date.
Yeah. July 12th.
July 12th.
We're
It's finally
saying
here.
this is this
I'm like,
is-
Yeah,
right,
right. All the
exactly.
wood.
yeah.
yeah.
What's
you
the
know.
process been like? Has it been rough or yeah?
I mean, I'll It's been really exciting. Like we've been really pumped to go through this. It's definitely taken longer than we thought. You know, there's been, you know, and I've done a ton of project management stuff where you've got really long runways and you've got your Gantt chart all laid out and you're like, okay, I know what my critical path is. And, and we tracked all that. But I mean, the amount of little things like finding a plumber was, I mean, I never expected it. Not only finding one, but the cost of one was significantly more than I thought. But
they did a great
plumbers
job.
and doctors.
Like,
Well, I thought, I was like, man, if I do it all over again, I'd be a plumber.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
It's
It gets
good
a trade
industry.
immediately.
It looks good.
Absolutely.
But no, they did a really good job. We're in the process of getting our permit for plumbing, so we should have inspection in the next week or two.
Okay.
Which should open the door to allow us to get our tenant improvement inspection and then our fire department inspection, and then the health department comes through and does
All
their
the stuff.
inspection. So it's you have, you know, 6 different agencies that you have to work with, and each one has their own special way of doing things. And I mean, the city's been really helpful. Like we've
That's
had a
good.
lot of advocates from the city that have come out and said like, here, how can we help? How can we help move this along? And
That's great because you don't hear that all the time.
No.
You know, I've heard horror stories about working with the city, so that's good to hear.
Yeah.
King County's rough, man. I'm in construction. I mean, I see those
get
targets come out, the scheduling for large projects, you know, and it's like, here's what we're gonna do, and here's the date for it. And I always look at it and go, yeah, right.
Yeah.
First thing I do is go, well, let's get rid of that,
Right.
because it's gonna roll the way it rolls.
Exactly.
It's typically how it
well,
goes.
we had a design from the space because I did some AutoCAD work back when I was launching grocery stores, and like I had forgotten most of that. But then I was on
Right.
YouTube one night because I was like, I'm not gonna hire an architect. Like that's another cost I didn't add up. So I was like watching YouTube. I'm like, all right. Downloaded CAD, got
you
the
go.
freeware, so I'm like, I have to do this in 2 weeks because otherwise I got to pay for the thing.
Yeah.
And so I created the plan after we had walked the space. We
Yeah.
did a ton of pencil and
Nice.
and paper drawings, and then drew it up. And it was actually like I felt so excited when the day that it got stamped by the city and stamped by the fire department.
very
I had
cool,
to
man.
print it on 11x16 and
Hell
put it up
yeah.
on the wall. I was like, dude, that's my first plan. Like
That's awesome, dude.
commercial published.
Yeah, that's
So-
awesome.
It's sweet.
Add
Isn't
it to my
YouTube great?
LinkedIn.
Yeah,
It really is.
That's how I learned how to do all this, man.
Exa-
I'm
yeah.
telling you.
Oh, man.
They have a
Deep
built-in
knowledge.
customer service that is phenomenal. Because if you don't know how to do something on YouTube, you just YouTube it.
So true.
And it's funny because I figured that out. Because I've never posted on YouTube, you know, and it's one
How
thing.
to YouTube into
Yeah.
YouTube.
It's so wild, dude.
It just
'cause-
that's awesome.
Computer explodes.
Yeah,
Right? Got up and walked out.
Totally.
I was having a problem uploading like a full-length video, you know, and I'm like, well, how the hell, what am I doing wrong? And I'm like, I guess you don't really call YouTube customer support. You just YouTube how to YouTube
yeah,
kind of
right.
thing, you know, and I figured it out. So I'm
Yeah.
like, what a great business
What
model.
a great business model. That's
No,
crazy.
that's funny, man. YouTube University. I got several
Oh, yeah.
diplomas.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Well, and the beauty too is that, like Scott was saying earlier, it's an intimate spot. It's
Yeah.
and it really like there's only one really good layout that
Sure.
it could have been.
Yeah.
So yeah, the space kind of told us what it was gonna be, and we Scott did a great job.
Got the feng shui.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So what kind of give us a audio visual detail? What are we talking about? Seating in there? Like, what are you guys thinking?
Yeah, so we'll seat up to 12 people in there. So like
12
I said,
people?
pretty intimate. But if you visualize, if you close your eyes,
Let's do it.
everybody,
Here we go. Here we go.
You're gonna walk in, and we'll have a spot for people to grab retail bags of coffee, merch,
Nice.
and all that stuff. Before they walk up to the register, you walk up to the register, and there's an egress path that naturally follows the drink creation.
Okay.
And so you order, and then you move farther down the bar. The drink is made, and then the handoff station's just beyond that.
Perfect.
And we did that purposefully because I don't know if you've ever been to anywhere that has a line.
Yeah.
But while people are waiting and people are ordering and they're all on the same line, it just becomes like a cluster
Yes.
of who
Definitely.
knows what. So
Right.
we wanted to avoid that. So we did that. We will have 2 tops at the windows.
Okay.
We have a bar sill that you'll be able to hang out at, and
Nice.
has a nice street view.
Very cool.
We're talking about getting some seating out front as well. So
Okay.
maybe
Do like a
couple
little
two
patio
top-
thing,
a
kind
little
of.
patio thing.
Nice.
And
And
then
you
we
guys are
have-
kind of set back a little bit, right? You have a little bit of a.
there's
There's
some
a
walk-
little bit of it's kind of the old atrium for theater where you'd get the tickets.
Oh,
so
that's
we're
right,
like,
that's
we
right.
if there's no venue going on, we
Mhm.
pop a table in there and maybe chat with the city and see if we can't. There's a little like tree space in between the two parking lots and be perfect for someone to sit and read a book. Or,
Yeah,
There you go.
exactly.
Nice.
And then we'll have 2 spots at the bar where people can hang out too.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Watch Phil pull an amazing shot, and watch me because I send
You're
him.
gonna crush
I
it,
send him
man.
text messages like every day. I make it because I got an espresso machine at home because I'm like I have to. I'm gonna be pulling shots at the coffee shop, so I need to learn how to make latte art. And I'll send him one. He can tell you. I'll send him one, and it'll be like. I was trying to do the monk's head or the flower, but this one looks like a flying goose. Like it's like you're looking up in the clouds and you're like, what is that?
It's abstract art, man.
That's when you give it to me. You go, I bet you can't figure out what that is.
Exactly.
Challenge the customer.
Yeah, challenge accepted. Yeah.
Never seen anything like it. No, that stuff's got to be hard, man. I can't. Yeah.
It's harder than it looks.
I
mean, and it looks hard. So
I was gonna say it doesn't look easy. It doesn't
Yeah.
look easy to me. So that was gonna be my next question. You guys are actually working the space.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you have any other staff or just you guys?
It'll just be us.
All right, very cool.
Yeah, we like pain. So
Yeah.
we'll
We pouring
continue.
coffee all day, running numbers at night, roasting beans on the weekends.
Yes.
Okay.
Farmers market on Saturdays.
Yeah.
So we're
Damn,
going
you're
to do
doing
that
that
this
too.
year
We're doing
too.
that
Yeah,
too.
we're
Yeah.
we're really going to try to go
all
full
in.
on and
Yeah.
see.
No kidding.
And I mean, eventually, we'll open up the space. We've had a lot of folks come to us who, have been in the network or people that we've known that want to, hey, we'll barista for you. We'd love to just even do a spot over at our space. And so
Never
we're really
thought
excited.
about that, like a guest barista kind of thing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I have a lot of people just, from Slayer and working in coffee for so long that have reached out and wanted to support. So we'll get a couple days off every now and
There you
again.
go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, sweet.
Yeah. Yes.
You brought me some beans.
Yes.
What's the best way to go about those?
Yeah. Great question.
I mean, I have a grinder.
Perfect.
My problem is I don't know when I've grounded enough.
That's interesting.
What kind of grinder do you have? Is it a blade one or is it?
It is a blade.
Oh, so that's. I'm not a coffee equipment snob. But
Okay,
I'd say
no,
the
it's fine.
first thing to do is get a burr grinder.
Yep.
Because that is
Okay.
like, because I used to use a blade grinder, and the
Okay.
thing is like what you're saying, you can't stop from over grinding it to the point where it becomes a pulp, and you can
Gotcha,
never get
gotcha.
consistency. So if half of the grind is coarse and half is
That's what I
smooth,
end up with.
all right,
Exactly.
fine, you'll never really be able to pull a consistent cup.
I
So a
gotta be
burr
honest-
grinder, it just basically goes through a conical rotating disc,
Okay.
and so when it's the right size, it just falls down.
Okay, I didn't even know there was a different kind of grinder.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I need to find a burr grinder then.
That's
step one.
That is the
Okay.
piece of equipment that's going to take you to that next step.
It's so funny because I sit with the blade grinder and I'm like, brrr, and I'm looking at it and then I stop and I go, Bert,
Yep.
shake
It's
it a
always
little
that
bit.
little burp.
One more for good measure.
Yeah, like, well, there's
totally.
a really big chunk of it. Maybe I'm not doing enough. Hit it
Yeah.
again. It's so
Yeah.
hard to tell.
Yeah.
Okay, so a burr grinder.
Yes.
What about those giant machines like they have in, well, I do a lot of work in Microsoft campus.
Oh, cool.
They got these massive machines where it grinds it and makes it when you order it. Are
the-
those a burr grinder in there?
There's one
Yes.
in there.
Yeah,
It is.
there
Okay.
is a grinder in there.
The
Yeah.
challenge with that stuff, and Phil was the equipment tech, so I'll leave you to kind of clean up my mess here as I explain this. But there's whenever you add like those machines, first of all, are incredibly expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Like you,
I know. I'm assuming
all
so.
of the super autos are going to be like, I mean, it's the price of a Honda. You know,
Right,
it
yeah,
gets
yeah.
incredibly expensive.
It
Whereas
makes a pretty good cup of coffee though.
right. And if like for me, I bought an espresso machine that has a grinder built into it. And
Oh,
my
really?
advice would be just buy a machine that does one thing.
Mhm.
Because the more additional capabilities you try to bolt on, the worse at everything they get.
Makes
Unless you
sense.
want to spend incredible money.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find a burr grinder and
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So how do you know what consistency your grind should be? Is there
Yeah,
is there
that's
a
a great
benefit
question.
to a finer grind, a coarser grind?
Yeah, that's a great question. So you want to extract all of the good flavors out of the coffee.
Okay.
And you want to let me start over. So you're using energy to extract coffee.
Yes.
That energy is heated water, and your brew device.
Mhm.
So if your espresso machine or pour over, and your contact time. So those things are important. You want to not under extract the coffee, which tends to be a little watery, a little bitter.
Okay.
But you don't want to over extract. You don't want to take too much stuff
Okay.
out of the coffee because that's where those kind of like harsh, kind of dry flavors come from.
Yeah. I'm following. I'm just thinking in my head. I still don't know. I'm still Bert.
Yeah. Well, and with the blade grinder, because it's inconsistent, you have pieces that have a much larger surface area
Yes.
than other pieces.
Yep.
They're going to extract at different times.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to get a lot of over extracted coffee as well as a lot of under extracted coffee in that same
Makes sense.
cup
Yeah.
because they're just different grind particle sizes.
But doesn't that just balance it out?
Yeah, totally. It all washes out in the end. Yeah, exactly. But I would say that the grind size is relative to the contact time that you have. So for pour overs, you're probably looking at like 2.5 to 3.5 minutes of a brew.
Okay.
And if you're hitting that, or you're going over and you're noticing that like, hey, my coffee's really tasting dry at the finish, and a little like bitter almost, then I'm over extracting. So I know that I need to make my particle size larger.
So you're not pulling so much of it out.
So you're pulling it out in a faster, so the contact time is less.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a balance.
It
takes,
is a balance.
Takes some practice.
Yeah.
Takes some. Yeah. You got to learn it.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, obviously, it would not be super simple, but
no, it
there's a reason why there are
can get
professional
there.
baristas and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I always when I teach grind size, I always say you have a fish tank, and then you have 2 fish tanks. One has boulders in it, the other one has sand in it. You're pouring water over it. It's going to take a lot longer for that water in the sand to get from the top to the bottom.
Makes sense.
Than the ones you're pouring over the
a great
boulders,
really
because
good
it
analogy.
gets down so fast. So. You want adequate time to properly extract the coffee, and then that grind size is just playing with that time.
Gotcha.
And that's where like
never thought
training your
about that.
palate to what you like in coffee and what because him and I could brew a coffee in 2 different ways. Generally, our tastes actually align, which is kind of nice.
That's
But
good.
we could brew coffee in 2 different ways and be like, oh, I actually like it a little bit more fine.
Yeah.
Because in that same analogy, if it goes too slow, then you're over extracting it, right?
Right.
If it's too fine, it's gonna really block it up to the point where you're changing the taste in a negative way.
Yeah.
Right.
And then
I never even understood. I mean, I guess I never really thought about it, but how much the grind does affect it. I know there's a right way and a wrong way to do it, but I didn't realize that it affected. It makes sense though.
In
And
my
there's
opinion,
different-
besides the bean itself, it's the second most important thing.
100%.
Okay. Okay.
There's different grind sizes for different brewing as well. So if you're using an espresso machine, you're going to be grinding different than you would if you were using a traditional like coffee drip.
Right.
maker.
Drip. Yeah.
Yeah. Since the espresso is going through, so an espresso machine, as industry standard, is pushing 9 bars of pressure.
Okay.
And so that's a lot of pressure to force water through the coffee bed.
Is it forcing it through faster, or is it just
It's,
pressure?
it's resistance. Right?
Resistance,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
So you want your grind to be a lot finer when you're using,
Right.
When you're brewing espresso, because it needs to take the impact of that 9 bars, and you want enough time to properly extract that coffee.
Okay. Okay.
Versus
Makes
if,
sense.
yeah, versus if
I'm
you were
learning-
just
I'm
doing
learning
the
a lot.
drip.
This is
yeah.
Whereas if you're doing campfire coffee or percolator coffee, you're gonna or a French press even, you're gonna want it to be much more coarse because it's
gonna
spending
ask about
so
that,
much
'cause
more time.
I do have a French press, and I usually like that. So
French press is great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
So what's your go-to? You guys aren't even at your coffee shop. You're not at home. You're out and about. You grab a coffee. What are you getting?
Yeah. I always get the same thing. It's a drip coffee and an espresso.
Okay.
And
One of each?
One of each.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
What about you?
Americano and a cortado.
I don't even know what a cortado is.
Basically, like it's like what 3 to 2, so it's like 3 parts foamed milk, 2 parts espresso.
Okay.
So it's basically like I want to have an espresso shot, but I like a little bit of cream with it.
Okay.
Like a latte, for me at least, is too much milk. You
Yeah.
know, in the morning. But like a cortado, if you go, you can be like, I'm still really tasting this espresso. You can't really hide a pour espresso in a cortado.
Okay.
You know, I mean, you can't really. I don't know. Kind of not hide it anywhere, but it's
Yeah.
the less milk you're putting in, the more you're
Interesting.
going to taste
I
it.
might have to try that. I mean, I'm a black coffee guy.
Yeah.
Sometimes if I'm feeling sweet, I'll put a little bit of cream and maybe just like a little bit of sugar in it. But that's
Yeah.
about as fancy as I get. But
Yeah.
that actually sounds like something I might enjoy.
Yeah,
So,
It's really good. Yeah.
very cool. I mean,
Yeah.
my kids, man, let's get a coffee. You're getting a milkshake.
Right.
It is not a coffee.
Totally. Yeah. Which is
I'm-
just as like delicious still.
Oh,
but
they're totally
different-
delicious,
Yeah,
you know.
different
I'm not
product for
afraid to
sure.
admit, when I was living in NorCal, I would drive through Dutch Brothers and be like, give me the 5
Oh.
shots.
Oh,
And
yeah.
to me, it wasn't like getting a coffee. It was like, I'm just going to Baskin Robbins.
Exactly.
And also
Yeah.
getting really jittery.
Yep.
sure.
Exactly.
The coconut, I forget what the Dutch Bros names are so funny.
Was it like
but
the double
like
trouble or
the
something?
Annihilator or something?
I don't even know.
Is the one that I like. It's like a coconut one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fire. Yeah,
I will
very
say one
good.
of the ones that I like a lot is the Starbucks white chocolate mocha.
Ooh.
That one's pretty good.
Mhm.
Or the peppermint white chocolate mocha. That's the one.
Yes. Yeah.
But that's like, for some reason, like Christmas is rolled around. I'm like, I got to give me a peppermint. white
Yeah.
chocolate mocha.
Yeah.
It's the season. Absolutely.
But again, it's like a dessert to me. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
I can't
Dude,
do that first thing in the morning.
Their cold foams are crazy good.
Yeah.
I don't think
They're-
I've ever had a cold foam.
Oh man, they're really good.
So
Yeah.
what's the you to do the foam, right? I know I'm just talking coffee now, but there's a trick to that too, right? Because you can burn the milk.
Yeah, you can over steam it for
Over
sure.
steam.
I mean, and there's varying levels, and this is more of a test for me, you know,
Mm.
because
Okay.
to show that I've been learning.
Here we go.
But there's varying levels of steam, right? If you just pour the milk in, right,
Mhm.
that's just base milk. But then as you steam it, the longer you steam it, and the more amount of air you're introducing. So sometimes when you hear, I don't know how well this translates on this mic, but like, you know, it's like, and it makes like a deep dark sound.
Yeah,
Sounds
it
like
kind
you're
of
at the
starts to
dentist's
muffle a little
office.
bit.
Yeah, that's how you know. It's like, all right, it's getting some good air in there, you know. And if I need to inject more air into it because I'm making like a cappuccino, which is going to have more foam in it,
Mhm.
then I'm going to spend a little bit more time aerating it. But if I do it too much, then it's going to be kind of like goopy, and
Okay.
it will basically be all foam at a certain point.
yeah.
Has that been tough for you to kind of nail this stuff down?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you know, it's I was for me, I was always just a black coffee guy. So
Right.
I would just whether
Simple,
I'd make it
easy,
at
ready to
home
go.
or even
Yeah.
if I went to Starbucks, I'd just be like, you know, I'll just get a nitro maybe, or like
Yeah.
just a cold coffee, a cold brew or something. And you know, because I didn't really, I'm not like. I'm a sweet tooth when it comes to like candy and stuff, but for
Sure.
whatever reason, not coffee.
Right, right.
And so I would just drink it black. But so learning all these beverages as somebody who never went to a cafe and was like, yeah, I want a cortado, I want a macchiato, I would just be like, the black coffee. So learning all of
That's
this
me,
is
man.
tougher because I'm like, but the thing that's
Partially
tough
because I
too-
don't know it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Sure.
it's easy
well,
to
and
go
it's we did the pop-ups and we've done the market. And when we were doing the market, it was pretty simple because we had our brewed coffee, our batch brewed, we had iced coffee, and then we brought in our coffee tonic, which is basically an iced coffee
Alright.
with some fever tree tonic water and a cut of orange. So it was a little bit of like a
That's pretty cool.
good summer drink. It was
Yeah.
really nice. We're definitely going to have that at the shop.
Okay.
But the hard thing is when you do the pop-ups and you've got the full espresso machine going is
Yeah.
the things people throw at you. They come in and like, can I get double
Totally.
this, double half calf this, you know, the shot of this, extra hazelnut, extra. And we're like, well, wait, we don't have the syrups.
You know what's funny
Yeah.
is I've gone to coffee shops and I'm the black coffee guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what would you like? A black coffee.
Yeah.
And that throws them off because they're so used to
You're
making.
my
Right.
favorite.
Right.
Like, I just want a black coffee. I've had people go, and what do you want in that? I'm like,
Coffee part.
just the coffee. Just that's it. You know? That's funny.
Yeah.
So let's highlight that. What drinks are you guys gonna have on the menu? Any like certain ones that you want to talk about right now?
Yeah,
Stuff
so-
that you want to specialize or let everyone know that that's what you got, kind of thing.
For sure, yeah. So we'll have a very traditional coffee menu.
Okay.
We'll have batch brewed coffee, so drip coffee. And then various amounts of espresso-based beverages, so like the traditional stuff, an espresso, macchiato, cappuccino, latte. Like Scott was saying, that's just all different ratios of coffee to milk.
Okay.
I
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, latte being the biggest, macchiato being the smallest.
Okay.
And then we'll have the coffee tonic, like Scott was saying, and then we want to do some signature beverages.
Mhm.
So we'll have a rotating signature beverage. So at our pop-ups that we've been doing recently, we've done a black sesame vanilla latte.
Mhm.
That was very popular.
That
and
sounds
was-
really good.
It was really good.
It sounds really
It's
good.
sold out. Both pop-ups
Oh,
sold
I
out.
bet. Yeah. I'd try that.
Yeah, for sure. And that'll be rotating out every quarter of just some fun stuff. We want to do like
Cool.
something with like maybe a Coke So like like just an espresso with Coke.
Not the Mountain Dew one that I sent you the other day.
Not the Mountain Dew one.
Got to do the do, man. No, is it Dr. Pepper now, man? Everybody's all about the
yeah.
Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, when did this become a big thing again?
It's crazy. Yeah.
Everything has cycles. I'm sure it has something to do with TikTok.
Totally.
It definitely does.
Mostly everything does now. Yeah,
It does.
absolutely. So yeah, we'll keep rotating specialty beverages.
All right.
Keep
And
things
all the
exciting.
syrups that we're gonna do, because like we were debating about this for a while, because everyone will say like, oh, I want a caramel or I want a chocolate or I want, and we're like, we want to keep a pretty simple menu because our we want to highlight the coffee itself. A lot of our ethos is like the growers and highlighting them and what they're doing at their home location and making sure that they're getting a fair share of the whole coffee trade. So we don't want to, like, at least for us, like there's millions of ways to serve beverages.
Yeah.
And for us, we want to highlight the coffee. And so we're going to make things that we think pair well with the coffee that we're serving.
That's awesome.
And still offer some familiar, options. Like we'll do a mocha because, that's a really common one. And we'll probably always have some kind of like vanilla flavor in a blend, like the black sesame vanilla. But, we won't have like 20 different pumps behind us just because we want to make sure we're highlighting the coffee.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man.
And all of those we're going to make too.
We'll
that's
make it
fresh.
nice, yeah.
Well, because I go to those places and I get overwhelmed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's like I don't even know what half of this stuff is, and they're putting so much. It's like going Cheesecake Factory.
Oh yeah.
You guys know
Oh
the
my gosh,
Factory?
the menu.
The menu's
Huge.
out of control.
Massive.
You know, I like options, but narrow it down a little bit for me.
Yeah, totally.
A little ADHD, a little indecisive. You know, they're like, "Are you ready to order?" I'm like, "I'm only on the second chapter."
Maybe,
Man.
I don't know.
Well, it's for me, like
I don't know how this book is gonna end.
I became like moving up here and some of my between you and my friend in Maryland, we call him Chef because he literally went to culinary school, and so he would always be expanding our horizons with different food and stuff. And so one thing I learned was like, you go to a restaurant and they have like a 1-page menu and they're like, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Generally you can assume that everything they're doing they're very well. They've got the right ingredients back there. Cause as an operations guy and a supply chain guy, I'm like, if I look at the cheesecake menu, I'm like, what's your back room look like? What's your cooler look like? It's got to be, I mean, at a cheesecake, they probably have it figured out. But if you go to a restaurant, they got 16 pages. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I like what's going on back there.
Yeah. Well, and I'll use this moment to highlight Hampton downstairs. I don't know if you guys have been to Creole.
Yeah. Yep.
But, Thursday he does his crawfish mac and cheese. Friday he does his po' boys. Saturday he does his gumbo. I only know because he's been out, so I've been really helping run the kitchen right now. I know way too much about what's going on down there. But he does that because he is getting everything from Louisiana.
Yep.
He's only getting so much. He's specializing it. We ran out of gumbo Friday night, and people were upset. I'm like, we only make so much. He only has enough, and everything's homemade. So
totally.
I agree with you. It's 100% focused on that one thing, and when you go to a place like the Cheesecake Factory or whatever, you're like, how is this happening?
Yeah, right.
But no, I think that's a great idea. I'm excited to come check it out because it sounds like you guys are going to have the very specific specialized, and it sounds like it's going to be great.
Yeah. We're so pumped to be serving the community and just being a part of this. Ever since I moved here, I was like, this is where I want to open. This is where I want to support.
Very cool, man. And it worked out.
community.
Did you just happen to the theater was just the right time kind of thing, or what?
I was knocking at their door from
Were you?
day one, man.
Okay.
From even before Second Love was an idea. I was just like, what's going on in there? What's happening in there?
Something big's happening.
Yeah, and I saw a video of Ben touring the space with somebody, and he's like, this is the spot that's going to be the cafe. And I was like, we need to get in there.
That's mine.
It was really
Dibs.
pretty scary
Dibs,
for a while
exactly.
because we weren't thinking it was going to happen, and so we had to start exploring other options. And we're like, all right, where in Des Moines would this be? Because in my mind, at least, hearing your stories and coming and visiting the spot and seeing it, it was like, if it's going to work in Des Moines,
Right.
it would work here.
Oh,
and if it doesn't work here, it wouldn't work in Des Moines at all.
Right.
So that's kind of been like the real estate location. Like this is
It's
the
a prime spot.
It really
and the
is.
theater is getting a lot of it's being highlighted a lot by the community, which is
Yes.
great for everybody that's in there.
Yeah.
people are pumped
Yeah,
for
they
that
are.
thing to open.
Yeah.
They are. We had again Steve from MIBFest, and he's been chomping at the bit for that theater to open for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's had ideas for this festival and stuff that he wants to do in that theater, and he's like, we're supposed to have it this summer, but maybe next summer. And I actually talked to a guy too that's a boxing coach, and he wants to set up a ring and do local bouts in there.
Ooh,
that would be
I'm
sick.
like,
that
that
would be
pretty freaking
crazy.
cool. So there's a whole bunch of stuff being
Yeah.
kicked around
Yeah.
for what's going to happen inside the actual theater portion of the theater building. So
Yeah, and we're so excited to be a part of that. I mean, we were talking about events and hosting stuff like jazz night and stuff like that.
Very
Having
cool.
the ability to do that, using the theater is going to be amazing.
Yep, for sure.
And yeah, we're already planning some stuff for the mixed use space in there. We're talking to a local chess club
Oh,
who
nice.
wants to start doing some chess stuff in there.
Very cool.
We are gonna, on our grand open, haven't publicized it yet, but we want to have different vendors in there as well, just highlighting some small cottage vendors and people in the community that are doing really neat things that we want to promote too.
Nice.
Kind of use our platform to bring everyone else up as well.
Very cool, guys. Very cool.
Yeah.
So what's the date again?
July 12th.
July 12th.
Yeah,
All right. So
yeah.
we're a little over a month.
Yeah.
We're
and-
getting close.
Yeah.
And if we get the permits and we get the okay to open earlier, we'll probably do some soft open dates. So if you're in the neighborhood, come take a look at the window. If we open early, we'll be publishing it there or on our Instagram.
Yep.
And pop-ups, you guys putting pop-ups on there and stuff too, I'm assuming?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah. So we've
cool.
done 3 pop-ups so far in the space. It's so under construction now that we probably won't do another one until we're actually like soft opening.
Okay.
But those have been awesome. The community's come out. They showed love. It's been dope.
And that
been
was the
great.
big
Very
thing
cool.
when we did big another plug for the farmers market every Saturday starting first weekend of June. We'll be at the farmers market.
Nice.
So come and see us there.
How you
And
doing the farmer's market?
It's
I mean-
it's a grind, you know. Like,
If I didn't have to search for my laugh track, I would have. Trying to get better at this too.
You were really quick on the sensor, but I was
Yeah.
impressed.
With
man.
Hampton, dude. I highlighted that one. I've got a bunch of different ones on here, but I know
Yeah.
where some of them are really well.
Yeah. Yeah, we do a pretty straightforward setup. Sorry, I was gonna
no, go for it.
we do a pretty straightforward setup where we're selling retail bags.
Okay.
And then we have brewed coffee.
Okay.
And
Cool.
that's we have iced coffee as well and a coffee tonic because we're able to make that there without an espresso machine or anything like that. So we do have plans to kind of expand that menu a little bit later in the farmers market season, but we'll keep it kind of low key for now.
All right, sweet.
Yeah.
We're building a coffee cart that will be auxiliary to that and also allow us to go and do like venues. Like
nice.
we want to be able to support if the theater's throwing a corporate event there because they've talked about doing different like hostings there.
Sure.
We could serve coffee in a mobile cart or even, do weddings or business parties or
Hell
just
yeah. Take it on
anything.
the road, man.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
That stuff makes a lot of money. I mean,
Yeah.
I've helped him with his food truck downstairs, and dude, I almost bought a food truck. I still
Yeah.
might. I'm not lying. Like the amount of money that people will pay for the truck to come out, or he's got the Seattle Sounders game, some of the Seahawks games.
That's awesome.
The amount of money that truck can make in like 3 hours, dude. The line is
insane.
insane.
It's awesome.
Like
Well,
I
food's so
I
good.
love a good food
Yeah.
truck.
Same.
So,
Absolutely.
there you go.
Yeah.
So the reason why I asked is about how hard it is to do the pop-up stuff or the farmers market. Have you guys talked to Pride at all? Waterland Pride?
Yeah.
So I know they're looking for vendors down here, and you guys won't be open yet, but maybe that's an opportunity to sell some coffee or something. Just thought I'd throw it out there.
Yeah, totally.
So-
Yeah. Chatted with them. We had a yoga class together.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So yeah, we are talking, and we're so excited to support in any way that we can.
Yeah, we've got we're trying to help out with them too. Downstairs at Creole, June 21st is going to be that weekend. They got a bunch of stuff going on that weekend. Hamp's going to be hosting a Pride event in the restaurant. We'll have a DJ there that day. We're going to have all kinds of stuff set up
Heck yeah.
and kind of in tandem with them.
Yeah.
I think I'm still waiting to hear back from them. I think they're going to have a drink special in-house. So everything that's
nice.
made on that drink will go to Waterland Pride.
Awesome.
I'm trying to get them on the podcast.
Heck yeah.
Like when you guys coming on, let's talk about this. I know they're still trying to nail down details,
That's
and they're
right.
like, we're kind of in between, so we'll see
Yeah.
if that happens. But
Gotcha.
a lot of stuff going on in the community, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Well,
So excited.
Welcome in. I
Thanks
mean,
so
I'm
much.
new as well. New podcast, new Stick Lounge. You guys are here, so let's see how it rolls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, you're killing this. This is really cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks, man.
Thanks
Yeah.
for having
Thanks
us.
for having
Like
us.
we're really pumped to be a part of the community. And
Yeah.
that was what I was gonna say too, is when we went to that market, we were kind of like, all right, how are we gonna do this? Like we need to get the roaster. We need to, and there was a point where we didn't know we'd be able to use the multi-roaster space. And I'm sitting there running the numbers. I'm like, man, these roasters, this is gonna be tough.
Yeah.
But we were down there at the market, and everybody that was coming up was like, when are you guys gonna open? We need you in Des Moines. Like we
Yeah.
want you here. So it kind of felt like the community welcomed us.
Yeah.
Which got lit a fire under both of us to be like, let's do it.
No, for sure.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Well, and I'm excited. You know, I want to
Yeah.
be able to stop in and get a cup.
Absolutely.
Because right now, literally, I don't go anywhere for coffee. I'm serious, dude.
Make
I
it at
don't.
home.
I make it at home.
Yeah.
That's it. Because I haven't found a spot where I can just go. It's a nice little spot where I can go get a cup. Auntie Irene's is great,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
I
yeah.
kind of look at them as
Solid.
like the sweet ones. You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
well,
I'm
and-
sure I can get a black cup of coffee there, but I'm like, I want to go to a place where I can get the coffee.
And
you
they're
know?
crushing it with the ice cream and like they
Oh,
are.
they're amazing.
Yeah, they do
awesome.
really
Their
well.
salads and
So
sandwiches
rad.
and stuff.
Yeah.
One of my favorite places to go.
So rad.
I don't think I ever look over there and see that drive-through not
No,
full.
Man,
Like,
it is-
they're
it's
doing
so
it,
busy.
you know.
Well, and that's the thing is like I'm willing to wait. Their stuff is good.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Well,
yeah.
we're excited as well to partner like with every business owner and community in this community as well. And you know, one thing I learned about coffee from coming from the cutthroat business world is that
Sure.
coffee is so friendly. Like
That's great.
you'll see coffee shops across the street from each other, next to each other, and they're operating with the within the confines
Right.
of each other,
Helping
and
each other out.
helping each
Not
other.
trying to
and
run each other
There's
out of
no
business or anything like
there's no
that.
cannibalism. There's none of that. Like
That's
we think that all the businesses here can help lift each other up
I
and
agree.
build a better community.
yeah,
That's
for
the
sure.
goal, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys, I'm going to close this out. Anything else you want to touch on before we ended it?
Come see us in June
Yeah.
or in July when we open, and
Yeah.
every
Follow
Saturday
us
at the
on
farmers
Instagram.
market.
All right,
Yeah.
perfect. I will tag on the episode. I'll get your socials on there. If there's
Perfect.
anything else, websites or whatever you guys want to push, just send it to me.
Cool.
I'll put it all in there, so
Will
we'll have
do.
links and everything, and
Sweet.
we'll see you guys around, and we'll see you in house in July.
Yes,
All right,
absolutely.
perfect, guys.
Right on.
Thanks a lot.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Joe and Hampton, lights dim, it's game time. Interview sharp, cut through like a shank line. Stick lounge, stories unfold, real and raw. From hustlers to dreamers, breaking laws with a claw. Microphone warriors, capturing life's conflicts. Sitting across legends, tales flick like black pics. Drop bars, not mics, knowledge, it rains. From the streets to the beats in every vein. Stick lounge podcast, tales heavy with the weight. Real lives, gritty stories, never fake. Joe and Hampton, digging deep, no facade, untold.